As the realm of horror expands to include more subgenres within it, there's one thing that stays constant. The most effective scares come from things we cannot see, which is why unseen presences are such a common trope in the genre. Throughout history, the unknown has always inspired fear, which is something filmmakers have used to their advantage by leaving things to the imagination of the audience. This list will focus on some modern movies, but we'll also take a trip back to the classics too. Here are some horror movies where you never see the monster. First up, let's start with a modern classic in The Babadook. This Australian psychological horror film centers around a widowed mother named Amelia and her young son, Samuel. They're haunted by a monster from a children's book called Mr. Babadook. At first, they believe that Mr. Babadook is just a figment of Samuel's imagination. But as the film progresses, it becomes clear that there is something sinister lurking in their home. Although the monster is never seen, its presence is felt throughout the movie. One of the most terrifying aspects of the Babadook is its ability to manipulate those around it. It preys on Amelia's guilt and grief over the death of her husband, using these emotions against her to drive a wedge between her and her son. As the Babadook's influence grows, so does the danger to both Amelia and Samuel. They must confront the monster in order to free themselves from its grasp, but doing so may come at a great cost. The film explores themes of grief, guilt, and the power of fear. The Babadook is not just a monster from a storybook, but a manifestation of Amelia's inner demons. Next up is a film that needs no introduction, the 1982 masterpiece by Steven Spielberg, Poltergeist. This supernatural horror film is based on the true story of the Hell House, a real estate agent who uses psychic abilities to sell haunted homes. When he tries to sell a house, he and his family become trapped inside. The film was praised for its special effects and realistic depiction of paranormal activity. The film follows the story of the Freeling family, who move into a new home only to discover that it's haunted by ghosts. Their young daughter, Carol Ann, is taken by the spirits, and the family must turn to a team of experts to bring her back. While the spirits are never fully seen, their presence is felt throughout the film. The audience sees them through the perspective of the characters, experiencing the same scares and suspense. This creates a sense of dread and anticipation, leaving us to imagine what the ghosts look like and amplifying our fear of the unknown. Poltergeist is considered one of the greatest horror films of all time, and it's no wonder why. Its terrifying story and masterful execution have left audiences on the edge of their seats for decades. Now, if you haven't seen Hereditary, then prepare yourself for a wild ride. This American psychological horror film is written and directed by Ari Aster, known for his other acclaimed horror film Midsommar. Hereditary follows the Graham family as they deal with the death of their secretive grandmother. As they grieve, they begin to uncover dark secrets about their family's past. These revelations lead to disturbing and terrifying events that threaten to tear the family apart. Throughout the film, the audience is kept guessing about the true nature of the events happening to the Graham family. There are plenty of plot twists and turns that make it difficult to predict what will happen next. What makes this film truly scary is its focus on the psychological aspects of horror, rather than relying solely on jump scares or special effects. The characters are complex, and their relationships with each other are realistic, making it easy for the audience to empathize with them and root for their happiness. However, as the film progresses, these relationships become increasingly strained, and the characters are driven to do desperate things in order to escape the darkness that surrounds them. If you're looking for a modern horror film that will keep you on the edge of your seat from start to finish, then Hereditary is definitely worth watching. Just be prepared for some seriously disturbing imagery and a plot that will keep you questioning everything until the very end. The Ring is a 2002 psychological horror film directed by Gore Verbinski. It's based on the Japanese horror film Ringu, which was released in 1998. The film stars Naomi Watts as Rachel Keller. It's a journalist who investigates a videotape that seems to be cursed. Those who watch the tape are said to die in 7 days. Rachel has a young son named Edon, and she becomes concerned when he tells her that his school friends have been watching the cursed tape. Rachel decides to investigate further, and she soon discovers that the tape is real and that it is indeed cursed. She watches the tape, and she has 7 days to live. Rachel must find a way to break the curse before it's too late. The film was a critical and commercial success. It was praised for its atmosphere, direction, and performances. The Ring is one of the best horror films of the 21st century, and it's definitely worth watching. If you're a fan of the genre, just be prepared to never watch a videotape the same way again. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night is a 2014 Iranian horror film directed by Milad Daryani. The film is set in a small town in Iran, and it follows a young woman named Arash, who is haunted by the ghost of a girl who died. 35 years earlier, the ghost appears to Arash in her dreams and tells her that she needs help. Arash is determined to find out what happened to the girl and to help her rest in peace. The film is beautifully shot, and the performances are excellent. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night is a must-watch for fans of Iranian cinema and horror films alike. And now let's go back in time to 1951 for one of the most iconic horror films ever made. It's The Thing from Another World. This science fiction horror film is based on the novella The Thing on the Ice by John W. Campbell, Jr. The film was directed by Christian Nyby and produced by Howard Hawks. The story follows a group of scientists in the Arctic who encounter a creature from another planet. The creature is humanoid in appearance, but is incredibly strong and resilient. As the creature begins to terrorize the group, they must find a way to stop it before it reaches the outside world. The Thing from Another World was groundbreaking for its time. The special effects were amazing, and the creature design is still terrifying today. The film also explored some interesting themes about humanity's place in the universe and the dangers of scientific progress. If you're a fan of classic horror films, then The Thing from Another World is definitely worth watching. Just be prepared to never look at aliens the same way again. Let us take a journey back to the year 1941 and explore one of the earliest and most influential horror films ever made, The Wolf Man, directed by George Wagner. This classic movie tells the story of Larry Talbot, played by Lon Chaney Jr., a man who is bitten by a werewolf and transforms into a vicious wolf-like creature under the full moon. The film is renowned for its groundbreaking special effects, which brought the werewolf transformation to life in a way that had never been seen before. The Wolfman became an instant classic and has since spawned numerous remakes, sequels, and inspired countless other werewolf films. If you're a fan of classic horror, then The Wolfman is definitely a must-watch. You will get to see some of the earliest depictions of werewolves on film and experience the movie that started it all. And finally, we've saved one of the scariest for last. Let me introduce you to a film that will leave you questioning reality itself. The 1976 masterpiece known as The Tenant. This psychological horror film directed by Roman Polanski is a mind-bending journey into the depths of madness. The story follows a man who rents an apartment, slowly loses his grip on sanity as he becomes obsessed with the previous tenant. The film is a slow burn that builds suspense and tension until the shocking conclusion. The Tenant is not for the faint of heart. It's a disturbing and unsettling film that will stay with you long after the credits roll. But if you're a fan of psychological thrillers, then this movie is a must-watch. Just be prepared to question everything you see and never look at your apartment the same way again.